Oh. As we get closer to the top of the mountain, these odd tree bends, which are not natural, and as you can see is not being caused by larger trees falling on the tops of these, as well as these numerous caves and sinkholes, are increasing in number. Get my 6. Listen closely. And when I get to the top of this mountain, I'll explain. Oh. I'm higher up now, and I'm surrounded by deep caves. Like this one. I'm going to pan slowly, get my 6. I'm almost to the top of the ridge. Oh. I'm in a bowl, so to speak, as far as the lay of the land goes. And I feel as if I'm in an amphitheater. An actor on a stage. This is a very deep cave back here. I don't know how well you can see it in the camera. Being watched by someone or something sitting around the entire ridgeline which surrounds me. Hold on, guys. I need to change. I need to move. I can't stay here. Guys, I'm zoomed in as much as I can zoom. Watch. Guys, I'm almost to the top of the mountain. Rewind and listen with earbuds. You may have heard something that sounds like a growl. I feel as if something's following me up the hill. I stop for a breather and to check my 6 and allow you the opportunity to check my 6. It's hard to believe anything in here other than myself would be able to move without making any sort of noise, though. Oh. The leaves are very dry. We're almost to the top, as you can see. Yeah, up there's the top. Guys, I'm just going to keep going. Just trying to see if I can pick anything up here. Okay, guys, as you can tell from that beautiful view behind me, I have finally made it to the top of the mountain. And yes, I have walked this entire way. It's a beautiful valley, rolling farmland. I can see a giant barn. Now listen, I'm going to address something I've been meaning to for a long time now that I just never have. A lot of folks say in the comments, why are you always wearing orange? Why do you always wear orange? Don't you know people have gone disappearing wearing bright colors? I don't care about animals seeing me. I want anything that is human or humanoid to see me. And that's why I wear blaze orange. Okay, I'm not out here turkey hunting. I'm looking for something else. I'm going to show you exactly why I wear orange. Out here in the middle of nowhere, further than I have ever been, on not private land, on public land, I find an old tree stand. And I'm not hating. What I'm saying is, I don't want to dress up in brown or green or camouflage. I just came up over the back side of this hill. I'm gonna give you the view coming the other way. I actually walked up this side of the mountain. I popped my head up over the hill here, and I was within shot of this deer stand. So that's why I will continue to wear blaze orange when I'm out here doing this stuff. Now that I'm on top of the mountain and I'm on this ridge, let me go find a nice comfortable place to sit, and we're going to talk. And I'm going to tell you about some interesting things I've found out this week doing research on not just the one potential Bigfoot Sasquatch that may or may not live in the woods behind my house, way up here on the mountain, but the many. Okay guys, I'm in a very small clearing. Hold on, I'm still a bit queasy, dizzy. That's a long walk. Very small clearing on top of this mountain, on top of a ridge. I haven't uploaded a video for about a week as of this recording, and it's not because I've been idle. Listen very closely. I won't scream, I won't jump scare you. Put on earphones or earbuds and listen very closely to the background. Okay, over the last week, almost in fun, about 5 or 6 days ago, I decided to start doing some, well, Google searches, which turned out to be very extensive research. You see this light colored area right here? That seems to be an outcropping of giant boulders, and there are some caves in these boulders. Keep your eyes open back there. They're about 150 yards behind me. So anyway, I was kind of surprised at first at how many alleged Bigfoot Sasquatch sightings there were in my area where I live. I'd never actually taken the time to sit down, Google this to any great length, because I've been out here in the field doing my own research. So I just keep digging and digging and digging because it just kept becoming more and more interesting. And I read a testimony somebody gave from back in 2002, about 18 years ago now, where they claimed to have heard a blood-curdling scream similar to the one I heard in the forest behind my home just after dark not long ago. To me, it sounded like an elk. This person said in their testimony something to the effect that they had hunted deer their whole lives, but they've never heard anything like this. Well, if they've never left the East Coast, I can get that. I used to live in the Pacific Northwest. I've heard elk. Now, I mentioned that in another video, and several people commented that there were elk in Virginia. Okay, I'm pretty much as central in Virginia as you can get. I Googled that. Found out there are elk in Virginia. Not known to be in my area, though. They're in Wise County, Buchanan, Virginia, the most southwestern tip of Virginia. If you go due south, you're in North Carolina. If you go due west, you're in Tennessee. You go due north, you hit the southernmost portion of West Virginia. And if you go due east, it's like a 6-hour drive to Virginia Beach. I'm 4 or 5 hours away from there. Virginia's a big state, but I will admit I do know that animals can travel undetected, unseen for many miles for extended periods of time. So I'm not going to rule out elk. There may be elk now throughout Virginia. I don't know. But the ones that are down there in Wise County, Virginia seem to have made their way over from Kentucky, where they were trying to relocate them or reintroduce them. So anyway, I found that out. But I kept, and in 2004, okay, there was another sighting very close to where I live. I kept digging and digging and digging and digging and found dozens and dozens of sightings, not just in my county, but collectively. Okay, I'm gonna make it simple. Point A, point B. 95% of all the sightings in my area where I live that I was able to find online, and there were dozens and dozens, perhaps scores and scores. I don't know if quite 100 in the last 20 years, but 60 to 80. Point A, point B, I live exactly in the middle of point A and point B. And so I found myself saying, wow, no wonder. Hold on, I thought I heard something. Start moving a little bit. On the way up the hill, there's a scene, if you rewind the video, where I'm zoomed in as far as I could go, and there seemed to be a large dark something in the middle. I followed that. Well, I made a beeline towards that to get up to the top of this hill, this mountain, and when I got to where I'd seen it, there was nothing there. So then I don't know if it was a fixed object and I lost it while my head was down. hiking up the hill, but I'm pretty much in the area where if that dark object had been mobile, it would be. So I'm going to move cautiously and carefully and just keep scanning my surroundings. And guys, I don't know what pushed down all these trees up here. You notice there's like trees pushed down all around me. This is not a timbering job. If I could find a, here's one. This was not done with the, look at this, back here. That wasn't cut down with a chainsaw, that was pushed over. So anyway, here's where I have to be very cautious with this story I'm about to tell, because I don't want to reveal any of these individuals. Most of the people who told these stories withheld their names, who put these on the internet, but there was some incidences that happened at specific locations. One specific location interested me so much, I decided I would go talk to the people that reside at this specific location. And what I can tell you is this specific location is located at point A in the example that I just gave a couple of minutes ago. I'm getting very close to where we're just going to drop right down over the hill here. So I'm stopping to listen for just a second. So I go to this location. There was a building. Now I am being very non-specific for a reason, because if I were to describe the people at this location or the buildings or what they do there, I would out this group of people, and they I just don't want to do that, and I told them I wouldn't. Okay, this woman that met me there agreed to talk to me for a short period of time. Hold on, yeah, I'm gonna flip the phone so that you can see what I see, okay? And if I need to zoom, I'm gonna zoom. I don't wanna walk backwards down this hill and trip and break my butt. So you guys are getting a view of what I'm seeing. So I get to this place, I walk in this building, and there's this older woman, early 60s, meets me, and she smiles. She says, "I was wondering when you were gonna show up." And I was kind of surprised that she knew I would be around, but I kind of wasn't, because we'll be down in town and people will approach us and say, "Oh yeah, I watch you guys on YouTube." It happens somewhat regularly, or we'll be at a football game or something, so it's not uncommon. However, this woman felt as if I would be coming to her for a particular reason. And I said to her, I said, "Well, if you're not surprised to see me, I guess you know why I'm here." And she says, "Yeah, I guess I do." And I said, "So what's going on?" And she says, "Well, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me." Okay, I'm starting to drop down the other side of the mountain. So I think I'm just going to go sit on these rocks over here so I can talk without making noise and see if we can hear anything creeping up on us. Give me a sec. Guys, I'm hearing tree knocks. That's a woodpecker. Okay, so one of the most compelling stories I found online was of someone who was visiting close to where this woman lives. And this person was staying in a cabin. This person didn't say whether they were a man or a woman. And on 2 distinct days, 2 days in a row, they had two, what they claimed to be, experiences with what they call Bigfoot. During the first experience, it was during the day, they were walking down a dirt road to actually go see this woman, okay, who works in this building. And they claimed that they smelled the overpowering odor of rotting flesh. This is their words. They continued walking, and something began throwing pebbles at them. The next day, they claim, it was raining very heavily, torrential downpours. It was just after dark. They didn't say what time of year it was. I'm kind of ruling out winter because we usually get more snow than rain in the winter down here. I'm thinking spring, late spring, early summer, because we get heavy rains in Virginia that time of year. They claimed that something so large stepped on the front porch of this little cottage they were staying in that it made the whole sound, or the whole little cabin they were in, sound as if it was cracking and breaking. And they said they could feel, hear, and even see something prying at one of the screens of the front room, the living room, from outside where the porch was, trying to look in through the screen, or to move the screen to be able to move the curtain. And then shortly after that, this creature stepped off the porch, and its weight leaving the porch was so great that it made the cabin sound as if it was cracking and breaking again. So this happened within just miles from where I live, and I was speaking this week with a woman who is familiar with this story and who lives in that area. Okay, so what I'm about to tell you next will reveal to you that this woman is associated with a particular religious sect, but I'm not going to tell you which religion. I do not want to out this woman or this group of people. They go out of their way to live in seclusion. They're self-supportive. Once they've earned enough money for the year doing what they do, they stop doing what they do because they don't want to have any profits. They want to have just enough to get by. They live a very serene life. So I came out and asked a woman flat out, do you believe this person that was visiting you, and so many of these sightings out here, do you believe they've seen Bigfoot, Sasquatch? And she just smiled knowingly at me and said, what do you think? And I said, well, I'm here to ask you this question. And she said, you know, speaking for herself, she said, I've spent my life specializing, practicing a belief system that believes in things unseen. And I said, well, isn't that the definition of faith? And she said, it is. And she said, she watches me on YouTube. And she said, like yourself, I have rejected much of our culture. She said, like you, I live in society. I obey the rules. I get along with my fellow man. I commingle with them in passing, but she said, speaking again for herself and our group, we go out of our way not to allow the culture to determine how we think, how we feel, what we believe. We tune that out. And she said, I believe that because of this, there are things in this world who can see this in us, in people, who allow themselves to be seen because of this. Because they know we won't judge, we won't react irrationally, and we won't question it. And we will in no way threaten their existence or their way of life, no more than they would ever intend to threaten ours. I took that to mean that she was saying, yes. I said to her, for kicks and giggles, if I ever wanted to maybe go somewhere else, somewhere I haven't been. And I told her approximately where I live. I said, and I know all these sightings have been through here. I know there's this other group of people that are out here at point B, and they actually do business together. I said, I live between point A and point B. I said, I've been all over the place, well, at least directly above my house. Where should I go if I wanted to have a chance of perhaps seeing something that for most folks believe are not able to be seen because they don't exist? And that's exactly where I am today. And that's exactly here is where we're going to be spending a lot of time with these videos. Going forward, let me show you a very strange brush pile I just noticed when I stood up. It's right there in the center, and I'm zoomed in again as far as I can go. I'm gonna have to walk down there to get a closer look. It might be nothing, but we don't want to leave any stone unturned up here. Well, and it appears as if the fun has already begun, because the brush pile that was there a minute ago was gone when I got over here. So thanks for being with me for another long overdue episode of the PBS the Potential Bigfoot Sasquatch Show.